The battle that matters most in the world right now, and kind of forever, is the battle of ideas. And there's a strange phenomenon known as memes that no doubt you are all aware of that are weirdly potent and powerful when it comes to the battle of ideas. Partly because one of the most powerful things you can do is make fun of crappy ideas. And that's a lot of what memes do, is mocking bad ideas by comparing them to things or pointing out how stupid they are, or whatever. And so sometimes, like I've talked about a million times, the fact that trying to get people to start to question something is most of the challenge. Like, once somebody is interested in it enough to have a discussion or to dive into it or to read a book or watch a video or whatever, cool. Like, by the time they're leading themselves, your work, my work, the work of people who believe in actual freedom is mostly done. But trying to get the average person to start thinking in that direction is usually the challenge. And memes are a good way to tease people into thinking about stuff. Not that it always works, obviously, but it's a fun little way to drop seeds to make people think or to make them curious, and to lead them to other things. So I made a whole bunch of Jones Plantation memes. When we were making the movie, we knew full well the movie is basically 5,000 memes in a row. The whole thing is memes pretty much. So I made a bunch. I'm actually going to make some more. But what I'm going to do is put a link below in the description to a folder that anybody can go to and download these memes and throw them at whoever you want in whatever situation or setting or context you want to. Yeehaw. Because I think there really is something psychologically powerful about what a stupid little meme can do. It's just an image. It's just a still picture that, in this case, it has words on it. But just to make people go, huh? Now, there's two goals. One is to actually spread an idea. And you can only explain so much in a still image without having the, 8 paragraphs of text, which doesn't work. But the other thing is to get people curious so they look at something else. In this case, the Jones Plantation. So almost all of these are making a point in and of themselves, even if somebody has no idea what the meme is referring to, and even if they never watched Jones Plantation or never even know what the hell it is. But in addition to making a point, they also point people to the movie so they can actually be further nudged into questioning the bullshit that they've always believed. So I'm just going to run through a bunch of them. Again, all of these, and I'll probably add a few more because I already have a few more in the pipeline, will be freely available in a folder that you can find in the description below. But for each one, I wanted to sort of say the context in which I already use them, because I've already spent a certain amount of time just sort of scrolling through Facebook, just various reels and posts that have nothing to do with me. And the context, there are so many different contexts and topics and subjects that are just a Jones Plantation meme waiting to happen. So, first one, an obvious punch in the face, is this happy one. You offer them a truth and a freedom that they don't want. They'll take the comfortable lie over the uncomfortable truth every time. This psychologically serves as a challenge to the viewer, too, because it basically says, are you one of the people who don't really want to know the whole truth? And then, of course, it throws them at Jones Plantation. So that's a fun general one to throw at people. Then I just made this one. When managed properly, the minds of human slaves can make them the most useful and the easiest to manage. Again, it doesn't explain what the hell it's talking about, but for a certain number of people, they'll go, what? What is this referring to? And so it has links to the website, and it mentions the We All Live on Jones Plantation line with a hashtag. So that's sort of some general ones. Here's another one. Oh, so now we're going to get into democracy. I've thrown this particular one under a lot of election ads and campaign ads and people arguing about my candidate, blah. You two are going to have a little contest to see who can win the hearts and minds of the human livestock out there. And this almost all of these memes are a direct quote out of the movie, usually showing a frame while that quote is happening, but sometimes I choose a nearby frame that's more picturesque. So here's one of the ones that I use to bash democracy whenever elections come up, whether it's Trump or Biden or anything else. So now, when somebody is pushing for Democrats, I'll throw this one up. Earl Johnson wants to take care of us and make Jones Plantation fair and equal for everyone. If you post this and people, a bunch of Democrats are looking at it and they're like, what? Who's this guy? What are you talking about? And hopefully tempt them into looking up Jones Plantation. And of course, if you're going to have one for them, you have to have one for the Republicans. And this is the most text I have on any of them, partly because conservatives tend to think that they're more thoughtful. I think they actually are more thoughtful and philosophical and intellectual. So things haven't always been perfect, but little ideas like God, family, hard work, well, they mean something around these parts. Nathaniel will fight for you and work tirelessly to keep this plantation competitive, profitable, and most of all free. So if someone's reading that, right up until they hit the word plantation, they might think, who is this? Is this an actual campaign? Because, by the way, it was modeled. Andrew Treglia, the director, basically modeled these campaign ads that just hit you in the face in the middle of the movie. Modeled them after actual campaigns. So again, the goal is to have people look at it and go, what's this Jones Plantation thing? What are you talking about? And it's a fun way to make fun of Republicans who are just like the last one was a fun way to make fun of Democrats who are like, rah, rah, rah for our guy. And you throw this in and they're like, wait, what's going on? So, and then a couple more about democracy. So if we let them vote, they think they're in charge. Direct Mr. Jones quote. And again, it's so fun to throw this under people arguing back and forth about, okay, Biden's corrupt. No, Trump's corrupt. So you throw this in just to bother them and hopefully get some of them to question it and think about, like, what are you talking about? What's this Jones Plantation thing? And then it's not about who's in power. It's about who they think is in power. Another one to just throw in there when normal people are arguing about politics and elections. And then, in case I needed something particular to offend third-party people, which comes in handy, third parties be like, I think that it's time that more of what we produce goes to us instead of them. And this is, by the way, if you didn't know it, if you've seen the movie and haven't figured it out, Noah is absolutely third party, and specifically the Libertarian Party, accomplishing exactly jack shit, but playing the game designed by slavesmiths, hoping to accomplish something and accomplishing absolutely nothing. The novel of the Jones Plantation gets even more into basically Smith wanted Noah to do this because he wanted the ones who weren't going to go along with Jones or Johnson, he wanted them to have a completely pointless outlet too, through which they could get all excited and then fail and then crawl back into subjugation, like everybody who ever votes for the Libertarian Party. Yay. Okay, so I like to throw that under posts about Libertarian candidates to offend people. And then there's this very simple one, free at last, terms and conditions may apply. And this is another one where it's funny, even if somebody doesn't know the movie and doesn't know where it came from, but hopefully people will also go, what's this Jones Plantation thing? And again, I've talked about before the fact that if somebody hears something the first time, their normal instinct is to dismiss it and forget it and stuff. But they hear it 2 or 3 times and then they're like, I've heard of that before. What is that? And that happens with movies. It happens with songs. It happens with people. It happens with all sorts of things. So the more people can be nudged into hearing about Jones Plantation, the better. And then you have this one. I like this one because it sort of confuses people. Like, wait, why are you saying this? Without law and order, we're nothing more than savages. And because the whole law and order crowd in the Conservative Party, they think they're being in favor of order and civilization and morality and all that fun stuff. And no, they're not. And this is one of the ones that people, like, if they see it, they're like, wait, what point is this trying to make? And hopefully they'll, like, look up the movie. And then I had to make one. This is in the movie. This is one of the most cringy scenes to me, is watching the little girl pledge allegiance to the plantation, which is just as cringy as watching actual children pledge allegiance to the ruling class of the U.S. or any other authoritarian regime. But so it has the little pledge that they say, as free people, we work together for mutual benefit, pledging our love and loyalty to the Jones Plantation, which stands for prosperity and liberty for all. And yes, I totally want nationalistic and patriotic people to see that and go, wait, what are you saying? Are you making fun of the pledge? What's going on? Because yes, of course, it's making fun of the Pledge of Allegiance. You're pledging allegiance to your oppressor. So there's a number that are designed to smack patriots right in the face. Here's another one. Some of these twisted souls just hate us for the freedoms that we enjoy here. I mean, directly George Bush quote, pretty much. And so I'll use these when some conservatives say anything in the direction of one of these bullshit messages that parasites always use. Like, yeah, we need our military protecting us from those who hate freedom. So we'll throw this in just to make people go, wait, what? What's going on? And then we get to law enforcement. Good old Jimmy Jack saying, I know you hate me, and I can see that, but I'm just doing my job. And I leave it there like that. I've posted this under a lot of cop abuse videos and cops enforcing bullshit laws in the U.S. and all over the place, like in the last few years, the fascists in the U.K. and Australia just doing evil shit because they were told to. So this is always funny. Once again, it makes a point all by itself, and hopefully it makes people go, what's this Jones play? Who's this Jimmy Jack character? What's this even from? So it serves both purposes of making a point on its own and aiming them at Jones Plantation. And then another one to post. I've posted this under lots of videos about police being power-happy bastards. Give a man power over another, and you'll see his darker side come out. And again, if you just posted that quote attributed to nobody in just text, a lot of people go, yeah, kind of makes a point. But if you do it with this picture and the references and the links and stuff, has a little jonesplantationfilm.com link, then people go, yeah, it makes a point. Also, what's this thing I'm looking at? Who's saying this? What's this from? So I like them to do both. And then we get into a few specific like issues. One is gun control. I only just made this one, so I'm definitely going to use it to throw at a bunch of people saying, we need reasonable gun controls. Gun grabbers be like, let's leave the guns in the hands of Jimmy Jack and the rest of our fine security team, Mr. Smith. And somebody in favor of gun control is going to be, okay, I'm pretty sure they're making fun of me, but what's this in reference to? And hopefully it'll tempt them to look it up. And then I had to make at least one about the friggin' fiat currency bullshit because we make fun of that in the movie. So I have one about JPCs. I've created something called Jones Plantation credits. Think of these JPCs as money. You will now be getting paid in these. Now, this is one of the things that by itself, if somebody has no idea how the currency works, it's just to make them curious about, wait, what are you talking about regarding the money? And where's this from? What's this movie? What's the context of this? So it doesn't even all the way make a point. It just sort of tempts people to think about something. And then as another specific issue to mock people about, Mr. Jones going, what was all that mask about? And not even include the answer. I thought of making one with the answer on it because Mr. Smith responds. I may still do that. But this is another one that's just a tease that I've posted this under a bunch of people talking about masks in the post. Now, this came out late enough that it's, by now most people know that the masks did jack shit. But it's actually sort of a profound thing if people don't realize that that wasn't just, oh, well, we thought that was medically a good idea, but maybe we were wrong. Like, it's something way worse than that. And so it's just, again, it's a little tease to make people go, wait, what? What are they talking about? And then there's a more general one. Samuel, I will not sacrifice my soul to save my body, and shame on anyone who does. Yeah, you tell him, Samuel. Very straightforward, obvious one. And again, referencing the movie. So again, the sentiment stands on its own and then tempts people to check out the movie. And then to the tree, to the tree. And I like this meme because if you don't know anything about the movie, you're immediately like, what is this? What the hell is this in reference to? And this I've posted under people talking about both law enforcement and also like, you need to punish the criminals and blah, 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 blah. Talking about criminals who like don't actually have victims. If there's some cop abuse thing and people are saying, well, then just obey these arbitrary, random, stupid laws and you won't get in trouble. So I throw the to the tree there. And again, making people curious about what the hell is talking about. And then there's this one, which is one of the most important messages of the movie and one of the most important messages anybody can talk about, which is to wield real power, you must be willing to do what most consider unthinkable. Which is totally true because most decent people can't imagine just how fucking evil the people in power can be and how insane their actions can get and how homicidal and evil. So this one's fun to throw in there. I've thrown this under things about conspiracies. They would never do that. And in other places about when people are starting to say, I don't trust any of these bastards. And you think they could have done this? Yes, they could. However evil it is, they could. Whether they did, that's a separate question. But there's nothing so evil that some bastards in power wouldn't do it. And lastly, for this video, this sentence, if any one sentence sums up the whole point of the movie and the novel, it's this. You can control a man for a period with brute violence, but you cannot truly own a man unless he thinks your word is law and that he must obey and is virtuous for doing so. And again, that's straight out of the movie and it fits in context, but by itself it stands alone. And aside from expressing that sentiment that totally is a point that stands on its own and regardless of context or if people know anything about it, hopefully it'll also make people go, wait, who's this Mr. Smith? What's this movie we're talking about? So for now, that's all I'll go through. I'm going to make a few more and throw them into that folder, and I'll just add to it as they go along. You'll still be able to get to it. It'll be in the same folder. And I will put a link in the description below, and feel free to spread these around. And I would actually request that people spread them around. Now, part of that is totally self-serving, because if lots of people do it and bring attention to the movie, like, yay, I might make some money off of the movie because we made a whole stinking movie. But it's way more important that people see it and learn a bunch more from the entire movie than you can possibly learn from any meme. But they're all just seeds of ideas, and they're all just sort of tempting people to check out, like, what's all this about? And so if this, like, I've seen 8 million people commenting under various status things about democracy and about police abuse and about everything under the sun and political power and oppression and blah, blah, blah. And if you ask me, a lot of these memes are a lot more effective than anything you can put in text, which is why I literally already use them for that. And I'll say very little, sometimes nothing, along with the meme. I'll just post the meme, or I'll give one short little sentence and let the meme speak for itself. Because the way the human brain works, seeing a meme and just reading some little quote on it, it can actually be really powerful and more impactful than if you sit there and try to like write out a text explanation of some philosophical concept or something, because that just doesn't, most people aren't bothering to pay attention to that or thinking that hard. But just little memes, just little stabs in the brain to make people reconsider and question stuff can be surprisingly effective. So anyway, that is what I did, and I made a bunch of them, and I'll make a bunch more, and you can see the link below in the comments. Yeehaw.